This is Between Hooksets. I'm Jason Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the Fishing Crew.
What is up today, buddy?
Not much. Just dealing in wind, trying to figure out why the air conditioner on my pickup quit after I got it fixed again. You know how that goes, right? You get something fixed and then it breaks again.
I got one response for you. 284 billion miles on your pickup.
Yeah, right. But here's the thing. It looks like it has 10,000 miles on it. That's probably
a bad thing for the aluminum Ford bodies. They never look old. So you're like, I'm just going to keep driving them.
Right. I mean, why not? Drive it till the wheels fall out. Hang on. Hoyer. I'm doing a word find. I found Hoyer. Well, there's Minky. Hold on. Wait a minute. I found Minky. I'm here's the thing. This is the study of, I don't know, whatever, dermatology, entomology, geology, oncology, zoology, pulmonology. But if you look hard enough, you can find, look at here. There's quartz right there. You can find other words in a word find.
You make it your own.
Freaking hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. Yeah. So, you do what you got to do to make sure that, you keep your mind sharp. And so I'm doing the word finds. And if you can find other words in a word find that weren't meant to be, then like Jacob L, right? I found L in there 6 times.
It's gonna be a good show tonight.
Yeah, it is.
You're gonna be doing a word find over there, but we're gonna talk about NWT Mobridge coming to your neck of the woods, and I couldn't think of a better guest than Mark Kortz to longtime pro. So we'll bring Mark on. We've had him on before. I think this is the first time we had Mark. Maybe the first time he's been not driving. So
yeah, there you go. Right. Yeah. He's just relaxing in a chair.
I actually wish I was driving, really.
Yeah. Last time you were driving, so
I was Mark, about every other word, I think.
How you doing tonight, buddy?
Good. Just actually packing, trying to get out of here.
Yeah, I see. You must have totes behind you ready to go. Well, thanks for taking some time tonight.
Actually, that is a wife's project that she decided needed to be done as I'm leaving for a tournament between a room to pack the whole room.
Yeah. Careful. Yeah, careful, because
exactly. So that's what we got going there. My whole room's packed, so I just grabbed stuff out of totes.
Yeah.
You know what? Don't feel bad. You might not have been able to. She was doing this. She wasn't one finger waving. She was waving with all 5 fingers, the whole hand.
So getting ready to head out. You leaving tomorrow to come out to Mobridge?
I am. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I wish I was out there right now. Today would have been a nice day to be on the river. Earlier, it looked like, and it looks like we're going to get a little bit of wind here. At least I think I'm going to have a south wind, so I'm not going to have to drive completely into it. So that'll be good tomorrow, headed west. I always love coming to Mobridge.
Yeah, so, you've been doing this game, a long time, all the way back the PWT days for you, RCL, PWT, FLW, and on to the NWT. And
oh, you forgot one in there.
MWC, or which one did you?
No, Cabela's National, or the Cabela's Tour. So that would have been.
I always forget that one.
What the heck?
Yeah, is that the R? What?
The RCL was
RCL. Yeah,
RCL was Ranger Lund Crestliner.
Okay.
Ranger Crestliner Lund. That was what the heck was it back then?
I can't
Too
remember.
long ago to remember.
I know what you're talking
exactly. About. That's how old we're getting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you've had quite a bit of experience coming to Lake Oahe. I know from being buddies with you, it's one of your more favorite spots to come. So what are you thinking? What are you thinking for this event?
It's been a long time since we've been there this time of year. I think the last time we were there, Wade Weil won it at about this time of year. Oahe is an awesome fishery no matter when you're there. And we're actually kind of in the right location this time. we're kind of limited to the state line down to the 212 bridge, which is no big deal. That's what, 90 or 80 miles of river.
A lot of river.
But like this is probably the first time they put a boundary on the southern end. It's usually the 9 times out of 10 it's in the North Dakota border because of our slot limit.
Correct.
But the southern end, that's
the PWT used to have the 212 as a boundary.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. I don't think you need to go any further south.
No, 100%. I mean, obviously there's fish down there. I mean, the Cheyenne hosts a lot of spawning fish. So, yeah, I mean, do we need to go there? No. I think we're going to have a great bite. I know it's a little tougher right now from what I'm hearing up in that area, but you got to remember, I mean, Bismarck is on fire. If you looked at those weights that those guys caught during the big muddy, I think they were absolutely phenomenal. A lot of big fish caught, and those fish are all going to migrate, right? I mean, a lot of them stay. There are river fish that stay in the river, but a lot of those fish are on their way down. So I think we're going to hit it right. We finally got a warm up that's going to stay warm. I think we got one cool night in there. I don't think that's going to affect it. Number one, it's a river, and number two, the time of year where those fish are migrating. They're just migrating to their summer haunts now. They got done spawning, whether they were up in the Grand or whether we're down in the Morrow, or if they're coming from up north. Those fish are just getting done spawning, and it's going to be a fun bite. I really believe guys are going to catch them. You're going to be able to do whatever you want, whether you want to live bait fish, whether you want to, use forward-facing sonar, or whether you want to crank. You're going to be able to catch them however you want.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of Lake Oahe, right? I mean, it is a versatile lake, and it has been a long time since you've been here in the spring. And I was out Monday night, and me and the guy went out after work, caught one walleye, about a 19 3/4 inch male, and it was still milting.
Yeah, so, I think. Well, the water temp. What was the water temp? I mean, let's be honest.
It's 48 to 52, maybe 55 in some areas, right?
That's spawning. That's spawning water. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that's honestly spawning water. And guys in Minnesota, last weekend was the opener here. Guys were catching a lot of milking males, so it is spawning season, and that's one thing we forget. I mean, we're middle of May, but we've actually had a pretty cold stretch here where things just haven't warmed up. But we know for a fact that Oahe has giants, and it's going to take a couple, big fish a day to even stay in the hunt of this thing.
100%.
Well, it's going to be a massive tournament with a large number of boats, big, plus 100, 150 plus.
That's what I heard today. I'm excited, honestly. I mean, that's great for walleye fishing. Let's be honest. And I talked to Robert Cardenas today, and Robert handles all the social media for the NWT, and our numbers are absolutely out of this world. So it's super exciting in the walleye world right now, and I'm excited for it. Things are evolving. The anglers are evolving. You're seeing a lot of young anglers come in and be successful, and we're getting a lot of new blood. And that's something that we honestly, let's be realistic, we're lacking new blood. I mean, there's only a handful of us guys that have been doing it as long as I have that are still doing it. And this is great to see. I mean, if you would have asked a couple of years ago what was happening with the walleye world, everybody was thinking that it was at its end, right? I mean, if you looked at some of the numbers we were drawing for locations, but I think honestly, when you really put the numbers to it, it's going to great locations where anglers fish and where anglers want to go. And bottom line, that's the whole deal. I mean, if you take us to a body of water that nobody wants to go at the wrong time of year, you're not going to get anglers to go there. I mean, a lot of these guys, whether they're full-time anglers or whether they're recreational anglers or whether they're co-anglers or whatever they are, they're going to catch fish. I mean, they want to catch fish. And if they know they don't have the opportunity to do that, they're just not going to go.
Yeah, and I 100% agree. And I was going to ask you, one of my questions for you tonight was, what do you, in your memory, have you seen this many young guys come in a year?
I honestly don't believe I have seen this many young anglers come on. And, let's look at the year we're dealing with.
Right.
I mean, we're dealing with, traveling a long ways. We're dealing with high fuel prices, which at the end of the day, whatever, I mean, it is what it is. It probably still, I mean, between traveling and lodging and meals is still the biggest ticket item. You know, when we talk about tournaments, entry fee is just entry fee. I mean, we all pay it.
I've said it for years. The cheapest part of your tournament is the entry fee.
No matter, I think I want to say literally going to Lake Erie, my toll bill in total was probably somewhere around $300.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's just in tolls. You know, I mean, Indiana $64 towing a boat. Chicago Skyway Bridge $28 just to go over a darn bridge. Like, it's crazy. So. But it's great to see all the young anglers, and we got some darn good ones. I mean, you got a couple out there that are absolute hammers, and they're great friends of mine, and I'm excited to see that. You know, I really, and we're going to see a couple new ones this week. I got a feeling from down in that little town just south of Mobridge that are going to be coming knocking on people's doors.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Court's dude on the show tonight.
Yeah. We learned that's old Trapper T-Rap there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be exciting, and it's exciting for the sport, right? The young, hungry kids, and I guess we can't loop him as a kid, but we got an old guy that came back too, Chad Schilling. You know, I mean, he's back fishing full time, and these guys aren't just jackpotting; they're going all in.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And let's be realistic, though. I mean, Chad Schilling, I don't care about him. I'm more worried about Bo. I mean, I beat Chad on his home body of water back in 2000, I think 6 or 7. I don't even care about Chad. I'm more worried about Bo.
Well,
Chad's got too many irons in the fire.
We had Bo on earlier before the season started, and we had Chad on before the season started. And I asked Chad, I said, you know, which one are you most excited about? Which one are you most nervous about? And what do you think about Bo coming to his home body of water? Because we always know, right? You come to your home body of water and you've got 8 million waypoints on your graph. And he goes, waypoints? Bo doesn't even know what a waypoint is.
Right.
He just drives.
Well, you know, and the other crazy thing about Bo, I've had the pleasure of sitting next to him at different events in different places. And the way the kid talks, he has so much confidence. How can he not win when you've got the confidence that he's got? I mean, he knows what he's looking at. He knows what he's looking for, and he knows where to find him here at home. So, how do you beat that?
Yeah, you got to remember he's not a rookie, right? I mean, we may think of him as a rookie here, but honestly, the kid's been on the water since he's been in diapers. So he's really not a rookie. The kid spends more time. I mean, he's been nonstop since we got back from Erie on the water. Ben's been on the water every day down there. So, you know, those guys just put time on the water. And that's honestly, at the end of the day, that's what makes you an angler. And they're at that age, right, where they can do that. You know, they don't have, they got responsibilities, and don't take this the wrong way, but they don't have families and they don't have kids to take care of. You know, they spend a ton of time on the water, which is absolutely excellent, and that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, like Chad said, I know I've repeated this 100 times on the show, but Chad said, I've never given the kid anything in his life besides time.
100%.
Yeah, he buys his own boats, he buys his own equipment, and he's like, all I've ever given him is time.
Yeah, and the bottom line is, at the end of the day, that's really what it takes, and dedication.
Yeah,
I mean, you will not find two more dedicated kids than Bo and Ben. I mean, I've worked with them out in the field, you know, guiding, and I've been around them a lot. And those two live, eat, and sleep hunting and fishing. That's all they care about.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, Bo was out in Erie. Ben came to Chamberlain and fished. You know, and Bo was going to come fish the Sharp Showdown, but ended up getting in another. Had to do an AFCO shoot, I think, is the only reason he couldn't come fish that. Yeah. He went up and got third on the AIM up in Sakakawea last weekend. That's all he does is fish. And that's all he cares about, which is incredible. And that's why he's good. It's not because, I mean,
he doesn't take advantage of it now, because sooner or later he's going to be running a business there down in Alaska, and he isn't going to have the time. Dad's going to have the time, but Bo is not.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and I'm not going to say it's not an advantage having Chad as your dad, you know, because that was something I asked Chad going into the season. He's not on the podcast. I said, you know, I heard a lot of scuttlebutt about Bo. You know, like I'm like, guys, you don't know who's coming. Like if you don't know Bo Schilling and you're not got him on I'm scared of him list, you better put him on the top because he's coming. And they're like, oh, he knows the river. He doesn't fish anything else. And I'm like, yeah, just wait. Just wait.
I mean, I talked to Bo. He was out at Erie before I got there, and all he could say is, "This is a freaking giant body water."
Yeah,
that's all he could say. Is holy shit, this is big.
He was down in my neck of the woods meeting up with a buddy of ours before he left to go out there the night before. And he's like, I'm leaving in the morning. I'm leaving tomorrow. I'm driving all night. I'm going to sleep in my pickup and I'm going to fish. And so Chad brought his boat down to the Chaliks to get it wrapped. And I was up there talking with him and he's like, let's call Bo. And he's like, he goes, I go, how you doing? He goes, this place is huge. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I don't want to start.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, look, he goes out and gets fourth. I mean,
yeah, right.
You know, like I told people, watch him watch him out there because he's no slouch. It doesn't matter if he only fishes Lake Oahe. The kid knows how to fish. He knows his electronics, and there's not many better than him on that graph. And he doesn't. I mean, the old days of, well, we caught him over here in 19, so we're going to go there. He doesn't do that. He doesn't believe in any of that.
No, and that's exactly. I mean, and that's what you found in today's technology. I mean, you know, we can all have waypoints from back when I started, and it really doesn't matter anymore. I mean, where the fish are, where we're finding fish today, we never even looked back in the day, you know, and that's the difference. And you're able to target individual fish, and which is cool. I mean, I really enjoy it, and I'm glad these kids are here because they're pushing me to become a better angler. You know, I mean, it's taken time, but I've forced myself. I mean, there's just a point in time where you got to leave certain things behind and just put your head down and try to learn what's happening. And that's what I've done. And so it's exciting, and I'm glad to see it. I'm excited for these young kids, and it's really going to make the future of our sport grow and be a lot better.
I'm just hoping this is a springboard year for the industry, right? Like, you know, we're talking some of the biggest numbers the NWT has ever drawn for the NWT era. If the number we all heard is true, it's
going to be amazing.
It's a big number.
Yeah, it's a huge number.
So, I mean, and that's great. And I hope Ben's in it. I hope there's a whole bunch of local young kids that don't have the ability to travel like some of the other ones, and they go out and they do good and they have fun at it and keep growing the sport. I mean,
well, and the other thing I want to stress here is I hope the NWT is paying attention and understanding that the West is strong.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reason why we're not having tournaments in the West multiple times a year. I mean, there's big enough bodies of water. They're different every time you go there. I mean, if we come a month later to Mobridge, this fight would be totally different. Right? I mean, like, it changes all the time, and that's the cool thing about the Missouri River. Whether we talk about Sharp, whether we talk about Hawaii, or whether we talk about Francis Case, they're all great bodies of water, and they just change throughout the year, and you have to be able to adjust. And that's, I mean, we can go up to Bismarck too. I mean, why we haven't been to Bismarck yet is still unbelievable to me. I mean, we used to go there all the time for the PWT. We were there for the FLW. It's a great fishery. Yes, it's challenging at times, and it's a little hairy at times, but it's still a great body of water.
If I remember right, it was either the second to last or the last FLW championship was out of Bismarck.
It was.
You know, I mean, and they had an arena to drive in. It was like the classic. It was incredible to watch.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was part of that, and I was lucky enough to make the top 10 there, and it was absolutely phenomenal fishing. I mean, yeah, if that first turn down there at No Heart looked like a bad wreck at Talladega with all the boats up on sandbars, and there was a couple of kids from Bismarck that were on them, so it was even better. But it was it literally looked like a bad wreck at Talladega with 2 laps to go.
It was you since you were in the top 10 and it was that event. I think I've tried to look for the video because I've told this story 1,000 times. Everybody was in that hole by the bridge. And literally, I remember watching people put their foot out to push the other boat away
That
to net a fish.
That was actually the one before the last one.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the one down at the bridge. And yes, they were lined up like cordwood down there.
Yeah, I mean, they were so tight that you'd have to push the other boat away from you.
And everybody was catching them.
And everybody was catching them in that hole. Yeah. I'll never forget watching that video because all people are like, well, how close can we fish? And I'm like, that's up to you guys. I mean, you know, if you don't want somebody close, whatever. But look, go back. If I could find that video and put it on replay and say, look how close these guys fished, and they made it work. Like, you just be courteous to each other and you go. And it was
a lot of guys knew that the fish were there, and a lot of guys just, you know, they all got along and they made it work.
Yeah. So we got a couple questions here. So Trapper asked, so will Mobridge have 120 pros in? Haven't heard a number. I've heard north.
Absolutely.
Very north of that.
Yeah. We'll blow the 120 out of the water.
Yeah.
If those numbers are true.
Yeah, if the numbers are true that we've heard, like I said, Trapper, it'll probably be the biggest NWT event to date.
Yeah,
it's going to be big. So
I think we might have. I mean, we might have pushed that 160 mark at Green Bay one time. If I think back, but there isn't. Maybe one, maybe two at that. You know, that level.
So that I was going to say that when you were talking about how Lake Oahe fishes, you guys are going to Green Bay back to back, right? I mean, and everybody's kind of up in arms on that. What would you think if they said we're going to Mobridge now and we're coming to Pier in end of July or end of June?
You know, it's honestly the same thing, right? It's just, I mean, as long as you create boundaries, which they have done, it's really honestly the same. You know, it's two similar fisheries, but at different times of year. And, you know, yeah, are you going to catch them probably the same way? Absolutely. But it would be identical.
Yeah, I mean, Lake Oahe from that 212 bridge south, even the biologists say they look at them as they are the same body of water, but they function so differently. Yep. You know, you have the deep trees, you don't have as many deep trees, you know.
But I'm going to tell you, Boat proved that wrong again last year.
I mean, right. Yep. Yeah, I mean, you know, the tactic to go after them is the same, you know, but it is. I mean, if you're going to, like a guy that fishes Whitlocks north to Mobridge area all the time comes down here and struggles because it's a different style. It's for a normal fisherman. Bo's going to, I mean, them guys with scopes are going to find them no matter where they go.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, if like even sharp, I mean, fish is totally different than all of them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a unique body of water, and even Sakakawea. I mean, you know, you look at where Bo fished last weekend, way up north in the river. That fish is totally different than the main lake. So
yeah,
it's a unique system that has so much to offer. You've got river, you got basically a lake type situation, and you got a reservoir.
Yeah. So what was your, if you had to predict right now, we know the bite's a little tougher. What do you think is going to be the weight? I know the AFCO thing has thrown out a challenge, and I've seen some weights on there that I'm like, ooh, they can hit that. That's pretty incredible. I mean, number one, if you're there, like when we were there for the AFCO deal last year, I was there, and I mean, it was absolutely a blast. And that's one of the things I was saying. If we were there a month later, even, you know, 2 months later, it would be absolutely out of this world the weights you'd see. You got to remember, these fish are coming off spawn, so they are going to put on the feed bag, but they aren't already putting on the feed bag. Like, they're just coming off the spawn. I mean, as we know, the later you get October, I mean, I've been out there when both records were broken, and I mean, it was an incredible week, and those fish are 15 pounds, right? But that's those same 30 to 32, 33 inch fish that are getting that big. Right now, they're not going to weigh that much. So I think, honestly, it's going to take two fish between 8 and 11 pounds. And from what I'm hearing, the slots are absolutely phenomenal right now. I mean, there's a lot of that 19 and a half, 19 and 3/4 stuff. If guys can put that bag together, you know, I mean, those 19 and a half, 19 and 3/4 are going to be 3 pounds, right?
3 at this time of year?
Yeah. I mean, I know Paulie Steffen during the winter fishing weekend, which granted it's in February, was on the lake, and he said his 19 7/8 fish were pushing 4 pounds.
And that's, pre-spawn fish, right?
Dead of winter, right? I mean, pre-spawn,
pre-spawn, heaviest they're going to get fish. So let's just be realistic. Let's say they weigh 9 pounds, or you got 3 for 9 pounds. And then you throw in, I'm just going to use 18 as a good number. I mean, it's going to take 27 plus a day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I hate guessing because I'm always wrong. Kurt, you're always pretty close. What do you think?
I'm in the mark area of that 50 to 54 pounds. I'm guessing is going to win it.
Yeah.
On 10 fish.
Yeah.
100%. That's kind of where I'm at.
I think that's a reasonable number. I think, granted, we're going to have wind all during practice. So guys aren't going to be able to do really what they want to do. I think from what the forecast is right now, the tournament days look good. We are going to have a little breeze, but you're always going to have a breeze out there. And if it's out of the north, you aren't going to have waves stacking up like you typically would in a current situation. If that wind switched around to the south, it'd be a whole new gig where the current's backed up, the river isn't flowing right, fish aren't moving right. So that would be different. But as we look at the weather, as of tonight, it's looking good. So, I think honestly you're spot on, Kurt. I mean, I think that 50 to 54 pounds is where the number is going to be. I mean, it takes a lot to have the big kahunas to hold out for, if I catch an 8, I guarantee it's going in the box.
Right.
Let's be realistic. I mean, that's a big fish anywhere. So, and any of those 19s, if they're, 2 3/4 to 3 pounds, I'm going to keep them. And I haven't put any time on the water since I was there for the AFCO deal last year. So I really don't know what the fish are weighing, but practice is going to tell us that.
Well, and I'm wondering, like I said, I saw that milty male. I'm guessing, didn't catch any females, but I'm guessing they're all spawned out. You might have a few that aren't going to spawn or whatever, but I think that's going to be define that. That's going to be the needle in the haystack, that unicorn out there. If you find one,
and I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, there is 11-pound spawned out females in that system.
Yeah.
I mean, but you got to catch one of those, right? And you got to make that decision to throw back an 8 or a 9-pounder to catch a 10 or 11-pounder.
Well,
we didn't do that in 2 days.
We didn't weigh that one Monday night, but weighing as many fish as I do across the scale in a season, and I would say that it was probably, I didn't measure it. The guys would measure it with like 19 1/4. I'm betting that was almost a little over 3 pounds away for a male. So, I mean, if you're looking at a small 19 at almost 3 pounds, I mean, it was a really nice, healthy fish. And that's the big thing is, I mean, our fish are, McCumsey had an 11-pounder in that winter fishing weekend that was 27 inches.
Right.
Yep.
But granted, the fattest they're ever going to get. Right. Yeah. I mean, that's the healthiest they're ever going to get is first weekend of February.
And if I look at those July fish, I mean, that was one of the things with that AFCO tournament, right? You could only have one over. And so they had that 3-pound bounty. Well, that was one of the deals, right? So you basically had to have an under or one close to 20 inches to make that 3-pound mark because they had that bounty on the 3-pounder. So, and me and Traver had one. We came in a little bit late, but I mean, that was that 19, that was that 19 plus.
Traver's never been late to get back to a tournament.
Right. Exactly. I actually talked to our buddy from down south there, Paulie, and he's a little mad at himself. He was him and Traver were on the golf course and he forgot to sign up. So he's been worried about planting and worried about the lodge and everything else. So he had a lot on his plate, but
he's got a lot of moving parts down there. Plus all those rugrats he's got running around nowadays.
Yeah.
He's in the Chad Schilling era of taking a little of a hiatus.
I just get these pictures from him that say rank, and it's his kids doing something stupid.
Yeah, I mean he's aging fast. I mean them kids are putting some age on him.
Absolutely.
No, I mean it's going to be a fun tournament. I mean, like you said earlier, the game can be anything, right? It can be jig wrapping, which is never gonna, pinging a minnow. I mean, that's gonna probably be where you see most guys do. But the MWC up there last summer, Justin Cole and Melissa Daughtry got second place with a trolling cranks. Right?
Well,
I mean,
you can't put anything out right now. I mean,
no,
that stuff can happen, and that's the one thing when we come out there. Number one, the Chamber of Commerce is absolutely awesome up there. Those guys do a great job. But second of all, like, you just got so many good anglers. Justin, as you said, I mean, Justin's one of the best anglers throughout that whole system, and I'll put him up against anybody. And you just got good anglers out there. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are going to jump in this tournament that have a great shot at cashing or winning, for that fact of the matter. I mean, you're going to see a lot of guys from Bismarck. You're going to see a lot of guys from Mobridge to Akaska, and you're going to see a lot of guys from Pier that spend a lot of time up that way. So you're going to get a lot of extra anglers out there, and that's the cool thing about coming, right? You're going to see a bunch of guides that are going to jump in, and you're going to get some young guns that are going to jump in. So it's exciting. I mean, I know a bunch of young anglers that are jumping in this one, so it's going to be exciting again.
Yeah, so we had a comment earlier. I've been holding on to it for a while. Who finishes higher, Bo or Chad?
Bo.
Well, I mean, is that
right?
Tenth of a pound at the last one?
He did get him by a little bit. I've seen Chris had that question, and but I'll tell you what. I honestly, Bo has zero. What do I even want to call it? I mean, like, he just doesn't care. Like, he's got nothing to lose, and he's going. I now, granted, there again, like you said earlier, it's on his home body of water, so he's gonna think about things and maybe question himself that he can catch a bigger one. Does that haunt you at the end of the day? If you think that you throw that 8 or 9 pounder back early, and now it's 1 o'clock, and you got to come in, at 3, and all of a sudden the 7 pounder comes over the side of the boat. What do? And if you don't put that one in the box, now you can't make up that 7, 8, 9 pound difference.
Well,
even
and
if you have that extra slot.
Bo, like you said, he's got a different mentality than everybody, and I can definitely see him not boxing 8 pounders.
Oh yeah. Yeah, right.
Now the challenge I want to put out, I seen Chris put that one out. I want to ask the challenge, will it be won on a Berkeley lab now that they are public?
Ooh. Yeah. So obviously you fished those for a while.
Yeah.
Let's get the rundown and the skinny on the Berkeley lab.
I'll tell you what, I honestly do not have more confidence when I'm fishing that bait than anything. Now, I will say I made the mistake personally at Erie not fishing it because I was literally fishing right next to Austin, or within a quarter to half mile day 1 and day 2. And I just didn't have the confidence fishing it in that dirty of water, and Austin proved me wrong. I was throwing a Berkeley 4-inch minnow in chartreuse and white because the water was absolutely chocolate. And Austin threw literally Wagasaki, which is the color of the water, and caught him. So I think that bait's going to be a big player. And now that they are public and I've seen posts on social media, everybody has them. There's no secret out there anymore. They flat out catch fish. And even when we were down at Chamberlain, we had John Prochnow, the guy that actually designed them, has done all the research. I mean, this literally is a bait that has started from the beginning of Berkeley and now is to where it is. I mean, we've had these products out and about, and we've just now matched them, and it's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, all the shapes, all the colors, all the scents. When we got Power Bait, we got Max Scent and the Secret Max Scent Slime. So it really just throws all what Berkeley is built on to that bait.
So Trapper was asking, so lab bait, is it because the movement of the bait or the scent that makes it different?
Well, there's both. So one thing that a lot of people don't understand, Max Scent is a phenomenal scent. Power Bait is a phenomenal scent. Gulp's a phenomenal scent. But the whole key to the whole process and what they've come up with, number one, Power Bait has scent. Fish grab it and they hold on. But it doesn't disperse as well as Max Scent. And now you add this Max Scent slime layer, and that actually disperses better than all of them put together. So what you're able to do, max set, we could never get clear colors. And what they've done with this bait is actually taken a bait that you couldn't get clear colors in and now made it the bait that you actually have clear colors, you have the max scent, and you have the slime layer. So it's definitely the movement, but it's also the scent that's in it. It's a hand pour, and anybody that knows anything about West Coast bass fishing, it's all about hand pours. And the reason being is because they're so lifelike, they have so much movement, and that's really what it is. And that's the reason why we can't produce them as fast as people want us to. I mean, if the retailers could get them right now, it'd be crazy, because right now I can sell one pack on eBay for $50. I mean, that's how stupid it is.
And so is this something like, so I've seen them, pictures of them, I know what they are, but is it like they go back in a slime container, like, or they just, or you use the bait and it's done?
Well, you can obviously you can use the bait multiple times. It's not going to affect it. The initial 20 minutes or so is the key, because that's when you have that initial slime layer coming off. But the whole key to it is if you get a couple bites during that point in time, that bait starts to loosen up and you get more of that max scent dispersing from the bait. So getting a bite, I mean, everybody knows if you get a bait that's getting chewed up, the more it gets chewed up, the more it gets bit, right? I mean, it just seems to work that way. And that's because you're getting more scent dispersion in the water.
And it's fun that you bring up John Prochnow's name, because everybody's talking about Spangler, everybody's talking about Kyle, and they're great guys, right? I mean, they really,
and they're phenomenal bait designers.
They absolutely know what they're doing, but the old guy, right? I mean, shampoo chemist to this.
I'll tell you, and I know this for a fact. Currently in the office, there's only two guys that know the formulation for power bait, max set, and go, and that's John Prochnow and Mark Sexton. Those are the only two guys that know the formula. I mean, even the guys on the line do not know what's going on there. It's incredible.
Sure,
they just get A, B, C, and D, and how much of those portions they put in it. They don't know what they're putting in the bait.
Wow, that's awesome. That really, I was even seriously, that is really cool.
Yeah.
So the other one that I'm really like, I know a couple guys had them last year during the Gov Cup, and they're a huge bait, is the number 10 finisher.
Yeah, and I actually was fishing that bait with Traver last year during the AFCO deal. I had a few, and I brought them out, and it's absolutely incredible. So, yeah, don't think my boat out there in the shed doesn't have them in it, because I guarantee you I will be throwing them, and they are phenomenal. And those things absolutely eat them up out there.
One of the guys that fishes the tournaments, he had his buddy bring, I think they had a dozen of them. They got them, it's early release. He got a dozen of them. And I was at a shop like a couple weeks after, and the bait had literally no paint left on it. Yep. Like you could just pick out a few paint specks. He's like, it was insane.
Well, it all goes back to that conditioning thing, right? And I don't care what body of water we're on. Fish get conditioned to certain baits. I mean, if you go up Scott Weir right now and throw a jig and wrap, fish run from it. Like, I mean, it's crazy. They've got conditioned to that. So with that, go to Erie, try to put a reef runner down. Yeah, you'll catch a fish or two, but you aren't going to catch them like you used to. And I think that's the one thing about the finisher. And what's happened is that it's a new bait, a new design, a new action, and it just triggers bites.
Yeah, I know the first time I started using them, I was a little disappointed because they seemed so light and the fall was slow. And I'm like, they got to get down there. Well, that's the genius of it.
Yep.
Right?
And
I mean, it's like, wait a minute.
Fish, you can keep the fish active to the bait, and that's the whole key, right? And you don't work it like you do a jig and wrap. I mean, my cadence with a finisher versus a jigging wrap are two totally different cadences, where I'm just a pop, 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 keeping that bait jigging and jogging in front of that fish until they get it to bite. And actually, you can even go into a reel sequence where you're just slow rolling it, and that bait just wiggles through the water. And fish, once you get them acclimated, or I guess active to the bait, then you just keep it away from them, and they can't resist that.
Yeah, well, Kyle Peterson gave the 411 here. I don't know if it was a year or two ago, and I followed it, and that was the wake up moment. That was the epiphany moment when I went, wait a minute, hold the phone here. This is ridiculous.
But
so there is a way to fish it, right?
Yep, 100%. And that's the same with every bait, right? And granted, we have a step above everybody at our labs in Spirit Lake that we can actually see what a bait's doing from under the water. I mean, we have a 20-foot tank where we can actually be downstairs and watch that bait work and see what it does with different rod actions or reel speeds or whatever it may be. And you can see what those baits are doing. So then you can take that and put it in your brain. And when you get on the water, actually apply that to the bait. So that's the unique thing. And a lot of people don't understand what we have in Spirit Lake. It's an absolute lab. And when we say lab, it's everything from fish science to fish sounds to fish smells to actual fish to bait production. Like, I mean, Dan can have a hard bait on his desk in 30 minutes and change it in another 30 minutes if it isn't what he wants.
So crazy.
So it is literally a lab, and so that's the cool science about Berkeley. And same with Kyle with sense and different actions. I mean, I've built a couple baits there with those guys, and it's amazing. I mean, we just go back in the tank and start messing with things until we see the action we want, and then we can test it on live fish and actually see what happens.
Just makes me, I shouldn't say jealous, but I'll tell you what, that would be exciting. I don't know if it's Kyle or Dan that had a picture of the tank, the test tank, whatever it is, and
the casting tank.
I want to see that thing in person so bad. Kyle and I got into go ahead.
What would be really cool is if a guy could have one of those in your basement with fish.
Yeah, no doubt. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
So I'm going to break away from that for a little bit because it brought up Kyle and Dan. I got into a little text thing with Kyle Peterson this morning about salooner times, majors and minors. And we're kind of going back and forth there. And he's like, you don't need salooner times for walleye. They're the easiest fish to catch, right? And then he busted out, gave me a few LOLs, and we were going back and forth. So where do you sit on the salooner time thing? Do you
100%? There's no doubt about it that's definitely a bite window, and guys should pay attention to it. Now, I like to be in a position where I know there's fish at that point in time. Okay, does it make them bite? I don't know, but it definitely doesn't hurt nothing. And if muskies relate to it, if bass relate to it, I mean, all species of fish, animals in general relate to it. I mean, if you don't use that during deer hunting and things like that, it definitely makes a difference. It's pressure, whatever it is, it definitely makes a difference. And Kyle says that, but that's because he's a muskie head.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Dan and Kyle, for the most part, spend a lot of time within 2 bodies of water down there, and they do venture. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Dan spends a lot of time up in South Dakota, but even where he spends time up in northeast South Dakota, I mean, that's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah, that's that. They've got
that's
some
not
spots.
Fair.
Yeah, I wanted to go to one of those barrels, and I felt guilty because I'm like, if I do go there, I'm gonna have to tell Dan that I went to one of his spots, and they've kept that a pretty nice little secret there. So.
Yeah, and even down in Spirit Lake, I mean, between Spirit Lake and Okoboji, you got 2 great walleye fisheries. So they, honestly, and that's a cool thing about it, right? That you can actually test new baits on fish and make sure they work. And we spend a lot of time in the fall, me and Mark Sexton and the whole staff actually, up in Fergus Falls, Minnesota. There's another area that doesn't get a lot of pressure, that has great fisheries. You can be on a new body of water in 2 minutes for the most part.
Yeah, right.
And it's just, they actually put time on the water, testing new baits, new lines, new rods, new reels, everything. And that's one thing about Berkeley. I mean, they make sure that they catch this fish before they put it out in the market.
And the fact that the stuff is built in the United States, I realize that some of the rods and things are, but the baits are all built
for the most part. 99% of the baits are made, and most of them are made right in Spirit Lake, Iowa.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, what's your thoughts on this whole tungsten shortage?
I'll tell you what, it's cost me a lot of money this spring. I'm a huge tungsten fan. I think, for the most part, a lot of guys are, especially with forward-facing sonar. Not only can you have a smaller profile and get the bait down deep, but you can also get a bait down deep a lot quicker than you could with a typical lead head jig. And it just makes the presentation look better, and it makes those baits look better in the water. And you can feel things. If you're a bottom fisherman or if you're a jig fisherman pitching up shallow, there's nothing better than a tungsten jig because you can actually feel it working. Now, is it the end all, do all? No, absolutely not. Can I see lead on forward facing sonar? 100%. But it's still, I think it's definitely the feel of it, transferring to your line, transferring to your rod. I mean, it's all a package, right? I mean, it literally is all one deal. And I think it just makes that much bigger difference. And especially, in a lot of those situations where you're fishing trees and things like that, where you're actually, trying to get a bait down quick to a fish. And that's why, number one, that's why jigging wraps were so good back in the day, right? I mean, because you can get them down instantly on a fish.
Yeah.
And that's what you're able to do with tungsten, especially with some of these different baits.
Tungsten surprised me. Tom Wynn was talking about tungsten, the paint, the this, the that, and I'm like, I just don't see how there could be that much difference. So I went out with the same rod, same line, tungsten jig, painted. It was a gumball jig. Yep. So both Northland products, right? I couldn't believe. I felt like I could feel every little pebble, stone, rock. I could feel everything with the tungsten jig, and really didn't feel much except for drag with a painted jig. It blew my mind. There is a lot of translation through the braided line.
And the other thing you have there is sound, right? Fish are curious to sound. If a tungsten jig hits the bottom, it's making sound.
Yeah.
Versus a lead head jig hitting the bottom, it does not make any sound. And fish are curious to sound. It's a proven fact. So, I mean, when a tungsten jig hits the bottom, it goes click. I mean, and especially even in these Minnesota bodies of water where we're rigging and doing different things, I truly believe I get more bites with a tungsten barrel weight than I do with a lead barrel weight, just strictly because it's going through the rocks, tick, 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 tick. It's just creating sound. I mean, crawdads make sound, minnows make sound. That's the whole deal. That's why I run a hydro wave. I mean, sound, I think definitely, if it doesn't help you, it doesn't hurt you, because it just makes fish curious, and the bait fish curious, which then in turn gets the fish curious.
Well, and the crazy thing is you can feel the click.
Yep.
Right with the tungsten,
100%.
you can't with a lead jig.
100%. I mean, and I want to say bottom bouncers are kind of the same way, and which you guys fish a lot of bottom bouncers out west. It's the same way, right? I mean, you can feel the difference between a hard bottom and a soft bottom with a bottom bouncer with that wire going through things.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot.
Here's another great, analogy to it: fire line versus mono, right? You can see what your crankbait's doing. It's the same darn thing. I mean, it's literally no stretch versus stretch, and that's why you see it.
We got a trapper question here.
Depends on if you lift a leg or not.
Exactly. And I'll tell you, funny thing, I've only run into rattlesnakes in a few spots, and the Lake Oahe is one of them.
Yeah.
I actually had a dog with Chad one time, and this goes way back. I sent my two dogs out early in the fall so Chad could hunt them, and they'd be in shape by the time I hunted up here. And he called me one day, and he's like, "Hey, your dog went over to a barbed wire fence and was taking a shit, and all of a sudden it yipped." And he was hunting West River at this time on a game farm, guiding, and he said he yipped, and I just thought he bumped into the barbed wire. Put him up in the truck, and he came back, and his head swollen up like a freaking basketball. And he's like, she got bit by a rattlesnake, and sure enough, she got bit by a rattlesnake. So, yeah, there's a ton of rattlesnakes out there. I don't go wading through the grass very often, especially on that freaking Polly Ranch where he has a freaking rattlesnake.
Yeah, Rattlesnake Hill out there.
Freaking no way.
I'm
gonna burn your farm down.
Yeah, when they have the damn, you go here. Oh God, Rattlesnake Hill.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah. No, people look at me when I'm fun. They always like, think I'm lying when I say we rattlesnake train our dogs and we vaccine our dogs for rattlesnake. Oh, whatever. And I'm like, 100% we do.
Yeah. And
real thing.
You know, venom with you.
Yep.
Or antibiotics for venom, I should say.
Great. I'm setting up a tent. You might have a little friend curled up in your sleeping bag with you in the morning.
Absolutely. Especially if it's going to get warm. They'll be out and about, crawling around and happy.
I got a picture from a buddy yesterday turkey hunting, and it was a snake all curled up. He said, "Welcome to spring in western South Dakota or central South Dakota." Like, it's a real deal.
Oh, yeah. No, and I'll tell you what, if you think you can outrun with the trolling motor, you're wrong.
Oh, yeah. You can put that thing on rabbit as you can hit that button as many times as you want. They're coming. I don't know how the hell they do it. They got no legs. And then to come up over the transom as fast as they do.
I ran into them down there by Big Bend, and it's like, nah, you ain't getting away. I mean, you better start up the motor and get away.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, we're out in the water, and I'm like, you see one, you just like reel up, we're moving quick, because if it's coming towards you, if you don't catch it far enough away, it will be in the boat before you know it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so you're going to get ready to head out. We're at about that 50-minute mark. So we already kind of talked predictions of weight. If you had to give me a top 5, who do you think is going to be there?
I definitely think you got to put Bo in there for sure. I think Ben Beadle's going to be there. Honestly, I mean, the kid spends a lot of time out in that neck of the woods, and he's been on the water all spring. And he's new, never fished a big tournament, but I promise you, he's a good angler. I think you're going to see some anglers from up in that Bismarck area. I think you're going to see some guides from Mobridge and south of there that are going to get in. Guys on tour, obviously got to put Dewey right up there. Dewey spends a lot of time in that water. I guarantee you there's a couple kids coming up from Pier, and they ain't young, but they're good, that really have a great opportunity to be there. So, but I think this is one, just because what the fish are doing, that it can be anybody.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it takes 2 of the right bites. Anytime you're in this type of format where you have a slot tournament, and I'm not going to call it luck because it isn't. You got to be in the right place at the right time, and you got to be able to catch both size fish, right? You got to be able to catch your overs. You got to be able to catch your unders. So don't say it's luck just because you caught one big fish. You were in the right area at the right time, and yes, you caught it, but you were doing the right thing to catch that fish. So I don't think slot tournaments are lucky. And you got to catch the right slots, right? I mean, you got to have those 19 and 3/4. So I think it can be one from, I'm going to say, from the state line all the way past the Morrow. I mean, honestly, I
think you're going to have guys fishing boundary to boundary.
Yeah, I think guys are definitely going to check boundary to boundary. I don't know how many guys you're going to see go down to that southern boundary during the tournament. There might be 1 or 2, absolutely. But, the majority of those fish, Grand, Morrow, up north, I mean, that's where a majority of these fish are coming from. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. I can't get there soon enough. I wish the wind was going to be a little nicer to us while we were there so we could actually run up and down the river like wild men and really break down the system. But it's going to be exciting. Guys are going to catch a ton of fish. And if the numbers are true, we're going to see some big weights. I mean, with that many boats, you're going to see some giant weights and you're going to see some big fish, and it's going to be a fun shootout.
Yeah. With 140 to 150, maybe 160 boats, I mean, it's going to be hard to pick a top 5, or I was going to say a top 10. I was thinking that before Kurt brought up the 5. Even a top 10 is going to be tough.
And I mean, you've got great anglers, right? You've got these young guns like Austin Tomasek, and you've got a couple other guys from Bismarck, and you've got Tom Wins, and you've got guys like this that can be very successful. But you got to remember, a lot of these guys aren't used to reservoirs, number one. We don't fish them enough. I mean, a lot of guys have only been to Oahe once or twice. And it's very mind-boggling once you get there how big a body of water it is, right? I mean, I don't care how fast you can break down the water. There's a ton of water, and it can be deceiving when you get there and look, shoreline to shoreline, start to finish. I mean, miles and miles and miles.
The other thing
when you start fishing in 100 feet of water too, that changes a lot, right?
Yeah.
You also got to remember right now, the lake is probably the lowest it's been in quite a few years at 1599.
Yeah, right. So, 1599 at 3 inches.
Curious. What was it in 2006?
06 would have still been high. 08 was
06 was low, 40 foot down.
Yeah, 08 was historical low. That was the lowest it was ever in 08. I don't know the exact range, but I mean, a lot of
there yet.
No. A lot of these young guys or guys that have been here in the last 10 years haven't seen water this low. And they're going to go, well, last year my waypoint's up on the hill.
Yes, correct.
Or
the last time we were there, right?
Yeah, last time we were here, my waypoint's up on that hill. My other question is what's Chase Parsons going to do that he can't run to Peoria?
Exactly. But don't worry. There's going to be enough trees a guy control that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to control trees, you control trees until you're blue in the face.
Yeah.
You think about that too with the live sonar, what that's done since the last time. Well, you guys were here in was it 22?
Still didn't have live sonar when we were there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So right. So think about all of a sudden now the entire body of water becomes a valid fishing spot rather than shorelines.
Yeah.
So this just completely changes everything.
Well, and that's the other thing, right? You got so many bays, you got so many points. There's so much structure on a body of water like this. It's just mind-boggling, right? You can get lost for 2 days and never see the same point, same body of water, nothing. And you might be in the wrong area for 2 days.
Yeah.
And think that the fish just aren't biting. I mean, it's real easy to do that.
And the other thing that blew me away that is really going to be a question, because we talked, cranking is not out of the question, especially with the wind and everybody's like, oh, Lake Erie, we have rollers, but you've been here enough. Oahe waves there's no other waves in the world like Lake Oahe waves.
The only thing I think we've got, I mean, looking at the forecast, is we've either got east, west, or north winds. I mean, we don't have any straight, hard south winds. Granted, the wind always follows the river channel, but, I mean, if you get a straight, hard south wind going against that current, building those waves, that's when it gets the gnarliest. I mean, but it's still going to be rough, right? And and as fast as these fish are moving, right? I mean, right now, these fish are not stable. They're not set up anywhere. They're literally transitioning from their spawning grounds to their summer haunt. So it's not like a fish is standing still in one spot. Like, they're going to be moving too. So there's a lot of variables this week, and it's going to be interesting. And I don't even want to look at my boat right now because it's a shit show with everything I got in there. But you have to be prepared for that.
Where my comment was going was, when I watched Lake Erie take off and I counted the number of non-kickers with brakes on the back or poles on the back on the circuit this year, it was like somebody bought a Chia Pet and put Miracle Grow on it for power poles and brakes this year. Because I think there was 30-some boats I counted that had brakes on the. I just counted the brakes. I didn't count the power poles, just brakes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd say 50 to 75% of the field does not have a kicker. If the numbers are true, you're going to probably have a few more kickers here this week. But honestly, you don't need them. I mean, like, I'm running amped outdoor batteries. I don't have to have a kicker. My Minn Kota Ultrex Quest just goes. I mean, like, I don't need a kicker to do I've got lead core, I've got Fireline, I've got Trilene mono, I've got freaking forward line on. I've got every type of line Berkeley makes on a rod in my boat, and I've got every bait from a flicker shad to a flicker minnow to a finisher to a jack to a freaking lab series. I mean, it's absolutely stupid how many baits I've got in that boat.
Okay, Chase, and ask him if he has the one bait you care about.
I was gonna bring it up, and I'm like, nope, I'm not even gonna say it. Money Badger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to make him get a Money Badger tattooed on the side of his face as much as he's in love with that bait.
Hey, I'm telling you, that is a phenomenal bait. And the one that actually came out last year, I'm actually more I guess I like the best is the shallow money badger. I mean, that thing with the circuit bill, you know, it plays so many places, so much times a year, especially in a river situation where the fish are shallow, or even, you know, down on shark when the fish are relatively shallow all the time.
Hey, now that's my secret, man. Oh, Trapper, you're giving away my fish catching secret.
Hey, you know, I brought that up. We were just actually at Berkeley here not too long ago, and the whole scent thing and bait motion came up, and I said, it's like that was a thing back in the day on Mille Lacs Lake, taking Preparation H and rubbing it on a leech. They absolutely went nuts. And we talked about WD-40.
Right.
I mean, we talked about, you know, the things that we thought of long before we have the baits that we have today.
Yeah,
think about the old boys that used to use that garlic concoction with the oil and the garlic and 100%. Salt and stuff. Yeah, $6 and a quarter.
So where that comes from is we had Jim Randash. You remember old Randash show, and he was talking about putting Preparation H and all these different stuff on his baits back in the day. And I mean, Randash probably forgot more about fishing than most will ever know. You know, I mean,
you know what? I hate to say that, but Jim sent me a note and said, "Hey, I'm retired. If you want to have me on the show again," and that was probably a few weeks ago, and I forgot. Jim, I'm sorry. We'll have you on the show.
Yeah.
No, that is true fact. I mean, that's what we did back in the day, right? I mean, we did everything. I mean, there's some of the best live bait fishermen, especially out in your neck of the woods. I mean, honestly, if we looked at the things that were designed out there, whether we look at slow death, chub fishing, I mean, that's big in Minnesota too. You don't have the spot tail shiners like we do here, but that's a huge thing here. Leeches, I mean, Preparation H and leeches was a Mille Lacs thing forever and ever and ever. The WD-40 on the cranks, I mean, it definitely does eliminate human odor. And it's proven fact. Like, I mean, and it's the anise, I think, what it was in the WD-40 that actually attracted the fish. And I actually asked John Procknum about that. And he said they've tested it, and that's literally what it came down to. What do we have come up now?
Something about anus and Preparation H, I'm sure. Oh, no, never mind. Buttered biscuit on whiskey.
That's awesome. I like the whiskey part, but
oh, that's funny. Did you ever get in on the smashing your leech thing, you know, where you smashed them flat?
No, but I'll tell you what I did a lot that nobody else did is pull them really fast, and they sat back there and twirled. And I mean, typically when you're rigging a leech, you're going, you know, anywhere from 0.2 to 0.6. And I was always doing like 1, 2, and just crushing them, letting them drag in the mud. You know, if we talk about Mille Lacs Lake, creating that mud trail, and that's what those fish were keying in on. And still to this day, I mean, if you're up there winter fishing, you drop a jig in the mud and it puffs, and all the fish come there and they're like staring at, like, whoa, what was that? So those are, I mean, that just goes back to, you know, when we used to have fun and nobody had all the technology we had today. But I'll tell you what, I honestly, I mean, as much negativity as forward-facing sonar gets, I find it challenging. I find it fun, and I enjoy it. I mean, it teaches you a lot about the fish activity and what fish are doing and why they like the bait or they don't like the bait. And do I need to speed it up? Do I need to slow it down? Do I need to change color? Whatever it is, I mean, there's a lot you can learn from it.
Yeah,
no doubt. Oh, hang on, I found Nitty.
This crossword puzzle.
Well, I've been looking at it going, I found Nutty, but I'm like, I gotta find Nitty. I'm like, and
those Nut Brothers know what Lab Series is. I can promise you that.
Right, yeah, right on. So the one thing, Dewey, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to change your name. I couldn't find Gelman here, but I found Habelm. So he's just gonna take that J out and put a B in there, and it's Habelm, and then the I'll keep working on that after the show, though, boys. So.
Mark, well, best of luck next week up there. I might run up for an afternoon, see you guys. And I know Chasen lives right there, so we'll probably run into you next week up in Mobridge. And best of luck up there. We'll be cheering for you as always. And thanks for taking some time out of your packing and getting ready to go to join us tonight.
Sounds good, guys. I enjoyed it, and look forward to getting out to your neck of the woods. It's God's country for sure.
Yeah,
I'm going to breathe that free air for.
Are you staying down in the casket?
What's that?
Are you staying down in the casket?
I'm not going to stay down in Casket. And honestly, I truly love that town. I love that community. The only reason why I don't want to stay down there is all the freaking gravel roads to get to it. If you take the shortcut, right?
Yeah. If you got to go all the way around, it's a long drive.
Absolutely. So no, looking forward to seeing everybody out there. It's like family out there. Everybody in that community treats you like family. So it's just a great community to go to.
Fantastic. Sheldon.
Hey, I'm going to see him in a few days.
Yeah, right.
Sorry about your Sheldon.
We'll get you on the radio, Sheldon, too. So hang tight.
All right.
All right, Mark, appreciate it. Travel safe.
Thanks,
all right.
Guys.
All right. Take care. Thank you.